Hi everyone and welcome to Dean Park Model Railway. In this video I'm going to take a close in-depth look at the Class O2 locomotive from Heljan. If you wish to support the channel, please hit those like and the subscribe icons, and if you wish to get in touch, please do so by posting in the comments section below. Since the very earliest days of the railways, a variety of steam locomotive types had been used to shunt wagons around factories, docks and private sidings. In the late 1950s, despite the increasing dominance of road haulage, it was decided that there was still sufficient need to replace the ageing steam shunters with a more modern and cost-effective type. Therefore, in 1959, British Railways placed an order for 20 diesel hydraulic locomotives with an 040 wheel arrangement with Sheffield-based Yorkshire Engine Company. These units were delivered between 1960 and 1961 in two batches of 10. And they were powered by a Rolls-Royce unit producing 170 brake horsepower. The loco tipped the scales at 28.6 tonnes and had a top speed of 19.5 miles per hour. Unfortunately, not long after their allocation, the work that had been designed for started to dwindle, and withdrawal of this type started only 9 years after the initial batch of locos were delivered. By 1972, only 4 remained in BR ownership. However, 11 were sold to private industrial users, ranging from scrapyards, coal depots, collieries, a cement depot and a quarry. In addition, around 50 similar locomotives with electrical transmission were built for industrial use from the mid-1950s onwards. Many of the 11 BR machines continue to find work well into the 1980s, and 7 have been preserved, including D2860, which remains in working order at the National Railway Museum in York. Heljan has just released the brand new double O gauge Class O2 locomotive, with the O gauge model appearing in the coming weeks. This will be welcome news, with an important gap being filled in the market for the growing popularity of small industrial based shunters to modern standards. There are 7 models released in the first batch, from BR Green, a plain green, a BR Blue Gauge Master exclusive model, as well as a light green Redland liveried loco. The model featured in this close inspection was formerly D2866 and was sold to Arnott Young & Co. of Dalmuir Yard in West Dunbartonshire in Scotland. This was repainted in yellow and numbered AY1021 before eventually being sold into preservation. This pocket-sized double O gauge loco is presented by Heljan wearing the striking single yellow livery with wasp stripes and red buffer beams. It has compact dimensions with a length of around 90mm buffer to buffer and a height of around 47mm. The distance between the wheel centres is around 25mm, making this the shortest wheelbase loco that has ever run here at Dean Park. So, you may be thinking that the size of this model limits the detail and features, but you'd be wrong, as this mini marvel has full working exterior and interior lighting, a whole raft of separately fitted details, along with DCC capabilities and a factory fitted speaker. Starting with the side profile, and I'm instantly drawn to the fine grille moulding and raised detail along the side of the main body. Lower down there are also sand filler caps and separately fitted sandpipes, which are positioned in line with the wheels. Along the top of the bonnet there are separately fitted rails. These are extremely fine but feel robust. They are attached to the loco with no signs of glue or large gaps where they are mounted to the plastic body. Moving around to the cab end, and I'm really impressed by the fine glazing that's flawlessly fitted. There is no prism effect and you get a clear view of the detailed cab interior. The yellow or black window frames are superbly printed, with even fine screw or rivet detail being visible on the side windows. The front facing cab windows, which are lined in black, have fine etched wipers fitted. Glazing here is perfectly housed within the frame, with only a tiny glazing mounting detail visible at the bottom. Around the back and the overhanging roof or veranda is finely moulded. Heljan really have captured the elliptical curve of this roof as the curve steepens towards the rain strips at either side. The cab door, which is centrally positioned between 2 rear-facing windows, is slightly recessed, which matches images I have of the actual Class O2 locomotive. 2 white metal painted grab rails are attached neatly to the end of the cabs, which stand out nicely against the attractive wasp stripes. It has to be commented that the decoration and painting on this model is top drawer, with the wasp stripes in particular being absolutely perfect. Printing here is extremely impressive, with the stripes covering the raised detail on both ends of the loco without hazing or deviation. On the nose end, they even wrap around the curved vertical edges of the body. Back to the cab end, and there is a fine separately fitted guardrail, which appears to be plastic, but it's sturdy enough. Below this are 3 shunt lights, which actually work, and when I unboxed this small model, I didn't even think for a second that Heljan would have fitted these tiny lights with LEDs, but they have. The designers really have pushed the boundaries of what is possible with lighting features on such a small model. However, it would have been even more impressive should they have made the nose-mounted light a working one. This is a dummy which you remove to unscrew the body. Fitting a small LED here would have been the icing on the cake, but I really am nitpicking, as I was amazed to have any functioning lights at all. The cab has a light fitted, and this can be operated on DC and DCC with the magnetic wand supplied. I'll have to see how the HM7000 decoder I fitted works with this feature. The rear buffer beam is fitted with pipework and is fully detailed, and is perfectly painted in buffer beam red, and is finished off with 2 silver buffers, which are unsprung, but they do have neat grease marks detailing on them, and from the front of the loco it actually gives the impression the loco has eyes. Looking at the front, and I'm instantly drawn to the fine grille that's finished in yellow. The paint coverage here is excellent, with the colour getting right into the grille details. Lighting features at this end as well, along with recessed access steps flanked with separately fitted vertical white grab rails. The lower part of the model is die-cast to give the loco sufficient weight and traction, and this is pretty well produced. However, there's a slight ragged edge to the casting along the side, which is probably more visible in this yellow livery. Is this a problem? Well, not really, as I'd imagine most buyers will be heavily weathering their model, and this will cover up any such issues. Imagine how good this punchy little loco will look when it's all weathered up. It's a tempting project. With these type of locos, you're probably going to fit couplers to one or both ends. Standard NEM tension locks are provided, which screw into the die-cast chassis underneath, these screws being provided in the sealed detailing pack. The coupler fits through the rectangular hole in the buffer beam and easily connects using this screw. The coupler has adequate side-to-side movement to negotiate shunting manoeuvres with wagons over track work down to first radius. If you don't wish to fit the coupler, there are blanking plates provided that can be fitted to hide the unsightly rectangular gaps at both ends of the loco. Power is provided to the 4 wheels via a coreless motor and gearbox. One thing I would recommend is that you fit a stay-alive unit to this loco. A short wheelbase loco such as this can struggle on point work, especially with insulated frogs and on dirty track. I'm not sure where a stay-alive unit would go. Perhaps modification to the cab area would be needed to fit this capacitor. It's not something I've looked at as yet. So there you go, a 360-degree look at this pocket-sized model. It certainly looks the part, but how does it perform? Well, I'll test it over Dean Park, and in particular in the depot, as these locos really wouldn't have ventured out onto the main line. For this test, I've fitted a Next18 Hornby HM7000 decoder, which has a default sound file of a steam loco fitted. This obviously isn't correct for the sound of the O2, but it'll give you an idea of the speaker quality, which is housed centrally inside the loco. Looking inside the cab, and I'm very impressed with what Heljan have included in here. You've got your driver and second man controls, seats, and also a central panel here as well. Fitting the Next18 decoder really is very simple. You just take off the blanking chip there and place in your Next18 decoder of choice. In this case, I'm going to use an HM7000 by Hornby. I've checked it on my rolling road and the decoder is functioning inside the loco, so I'm going to pop the body back on and get it on the layout. Being a loco of such small proportions, it was never going to give you Bose surround sound from such a small speaker on board. But you know what? I think it gets the sounds out pretty well. I wouldn't imagine the Class 02 was a massively noisy loco anyway, so it's not needing a massive speaker. Okay, well then, what do you think of that? I had a good time shunting it around the Dean Park depot. It ran quietly, despite not being fully run in. It's a powerful little loco and managed to haul bigger loads than you'll ever need on your layouts. It did stall on some point work, even though my points have live frogs. Some point work and track work in some cases was deliberately left uncleaned, and the results were mixed. Reading the detailed user manual, Heljan strongly recommend that you fit a stay alive unit to this model, and I would certainly echo that recommendation. Right, on to the ratings for this new Class 02 model. Appearance is top class. It's hard not to smile when you see the level of design and detail that Heljan have put into this. Ben Jones and his team should be rightly proud of this little loco. Performance would be vastly improved with a stay alive capacitor. I'll look into this at some point. However, on clean track it shunted back and forth and had decent pulling power for its size, and it even managed up my incline with a rake of wagons. Fit and finish scores highly. The evenness of the yellow paint finish is impressive, as are the wasp stripes, and finely printed warning flashes and running numbers. The cab is nicely detailed, and it would be nicely finished off with a driver inside. Separately fitted parts adorn the model without any signs of glue or untidy finishing. Only some surface imperfections on the casting prevent it from gaining full marks. Packaging is compact, sturdy and supportive. The box comes in Heljan's trademark blue with a line drawing of the loco on the front. It's not a massive talking point as it's a plain colour scheme, but it does the job and is of a good quality. The real talking point comes when you open the box. Details and features score highly. Heljan have packed the details into this model. Look closely and they're all there. It really is a gem. Looking at value for money, well, the RRP for this is $169. But you can pick them up at most retailers for between £145 and £150. Compare that to Hornby Ruston, which has an RRP of $199, retailing around £160, and this Heljan model looks better value, especially with the fine lighting fitted on this model. Still, some will argue that £145 for a tiny loco proves that the world has gone completely mad. But when you consider the situation manufacturers now find themselves in, with a shrinking number of factories capable of producing such fine models, and more companies than ever before competing for these slots in these factories, then what would you rather have? A model that's packed with detail and made to a high standard, or a lesser model for 20 or 30 quid cheaper? I know what I'd rather save up for. And a lot of people seem to agree, as within the first day of receiving his stock of the Class 02, my local shop Scooney Hobbies had sold out of all of his. Heljan has cemented itself as a leader of small niche models. It's something the Danish company just manages to do well, and I'd have no hesitation adding more Class 02s in the future if the need called for it. I'd recommend that if you're in the market for a small detailed shunter, then you strongly consider the all-new Heljan Class 02 model. It's a little beauty. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed watching and learnt something new about the all-new Class 02 from Heljan. In the meantime, please support the channel by hitting those like and the subscribe icons, and I'll see you in the next video.